Behind The Herald Headlines with Daron Mann.
On the front page of The Herald for today, your last Wednesday of 2021, the 29th of December. Jubilation as Shell suspends Wild Coast survey. Court grants interdict against continued exploration off the Eastern Cape Coast. Shell yesterday morning suspended its seismic exploration of the Eastern Cape coastline after a judgment interdicting it from proceeding with its controversial operation. Environmentalists, fisherfolk, wild coast communities, NGOs and tourism operators celebrated Judge Gerald Bloom's decision to urgently interdict Shell from proceeding with the survey. Judgment was handed down in the Makhanda High Court. For more on this story and others, including the fact that the UDM have threatened to withdraw from the ruling coalition in the Nelson Mandela Bay municipality, go to heraldlive.co.za. So there is a claim that cracks are starting to show in local government. The Bay Coalition, the unity government formed less than a month ago, led by the ANC, is being threatened by the fact that the UDM have written a letter saying that they will boycott party meetings and abstain from voting in council if specific demands are not met. Joining us now is UDM Bay spokesperson Yongama Zigebe. Mr. Zigebe, thank you very much. Festive season greetings to you and for the new year to you and your family. And tell us, is the claim that the UDM is threatening to leave the unity government in Nelson Mandela Bay true?
Good afternoon to you and also to your listeners. The letter is true.
So you wrote a letter. You wrote a letter.
Yes, we wrote a letter to address to Apadiachivas, who is the secretary of the Political Management Council of this government of local unity, addressing our concerns in respect to running of government, and of which we wrote it from a standpoint that when we see things that might threaten the stability of the coalition and also the integrity of every other partner who is in them, especially that of the UDM, would have to raise our voices.
What exactly is bothering you and what exactly does the UDM want? We're less than a month into this unity government.
What's bothering us is number one, it's the fact that the chairperson, because remember that when we signed the coalition government, we had agreed amongst ourselves as a collective that this will be an ongoing exercise whereby we'd have to go back and look at the coalition agreement, see which things have left out, because remember, we were on a rush-rush situation, having to form a government so that we are not put under administration and so on and so forth. So we went into that, we agreed on what was on paper, but then we had said, this is a provisional agreement whereby every now and then it has to be looked into. Any other party can come back and say, no, this is not going to work. Can we change it? This is how it's going to work. One of which is that what we need from our side as UDM is that the chairperson and the secretary of the Political Management Council.
The Political Management Council, just explore that with us.
All right. The Political Management Council is made up of all parties with we've used a proportional base in order to form it, whereby the ANC has about 5 members, the NA has about 3, and so on and so forth. So it's made up of the political parties. They send in their delegates in there. Like, for instance, if the ANC has 48 councillors, not all 48 councillors would sit in the Political Management Council. So it's a higher body that looks that plays an oversight role into the matters that the ongoing governance.
I get it. So that's who you sent the letter to, and you said if your demands, as outlined, were not met, you would boycott and abstain.
Yes, because those demands are not unreasonable demands. One, you cannot have somebody who is not a councillor who will be chairing that from the ANC side. That means you are going to be controlled from Lutuli House or whatever house in the Nelson Mandela Bay, which is of the ANC. They must appoint a councillor, whether it's from their side, but must be a councillor who is going to be a chair of that council.
And currently the chair is not a councillor.
He's not a councillor, and that is Mr. Luyolo Nqakula.
You guys have signed an agreement. Who is in breach of the agreement?
Remember, Nelson said that this agreement is an ongoing developing agreement for the next 5 years. Even if a night before elections in 2026 we decide, no, this agreement should take this side, that's what it's going to. It's an open-ended agreement whereby it needs to be changed every now and then. That's a binding situation we have put ourselves under, because remember that coalition agreements or coalition governments, it's a new phenomenon in South Africa. So now, as we develop it and as we learn and we go forward, we learn these things. Then from there, we come back and say, guys, we are writing to you because we believe that for us to have no political interference and no political pressure from any other political party, we need a councillor who is going to be a chair. We need a councillor who is going to be a secretary. Then you can have your alternate members in the council that you have chosen, who are not councillors to come and sit in. But however, the leaders of this committee or this council, it needs to be chaired by people who are in council, who understands, who are on a day-to-day basis, who sit in council chambers, because we don't sit in council chambers.
Right.
We do not know what is happening there. So it needs somebody who has the knowledge of what is happening and the experience in council. Secondly, another demand is that we cannot have an acting city manager who has an FIU report implicated in an FIU report, which is sitting in that office being shelved and not being taken to council. We want that report to be taken to council. We want Ms. Mwazi to be removed as the acting city manager with immediate effect up until she goes through all these disciplinary measures. Because now we cannot take some of the reports to council and some were shelving it. That is not how we operate. And that is an action for good governance, to show that we are a government who is, who cannot tolerate corruption.
Mr. Zigebe, if I could take you back to one of the earlier points you made, you said coalition politics is a new thing in South Africa. With all due respect, yes. the UDM at this very level of government was in coalition with the previous administration led by the DA.
Yes.
So it's not really a new thing for you. You've been involved in this for many, many years, and I can't help feeling that a lot of people are going to say, told you so, with so many parties forming this unity government.
It's a new thing, because this is the second term of us having to go through a coalition government. And remember that in the previous term, which is the 2016-2021 term, we had a lot of ups and downs with coalition government having been changed and learning from that. In that 5 years, there was a lot of space. There was a lot of things that happened. We had about 3 mayors, if I recall vividly, within the same space, of which was something that was unheard of in South Africa then. It is a new thing, because now we are learning from those mistakes that we have made in the past, and we're coming here to say, yes, it's still fresh. This is still new. But we are not like other countries like Germany who have been in coalition governments for more than 10 years. This is our 6th year in coalition government. We've made mistakes. Have it been new in the past 5 years, and now it's still new, let's just give it 2 terms and see if it works. So now we are coming back to say, this is what we've learned from the previous administration. These are the things that have caused the previous administration's coalition to not work or be changed every now and then. So now us having been in this coalition government as people who have been in the previous ones, we are actually saying these are the guidelines. These are the experiences we've experienced. These are things that would get us to collide.
I follow.
And so on and so forth. Yeah.
How can people have confidence in this arrangement? Even if in this instance it's sorted out, it hardly sets a healthy tone for the new administration, and service delivery, certainly for a start, is going to be affected. Do we have any assurances that threats to leave won't accompany every disagreement?
I think disagreements. It's nature. It's the nature of people. We disagree to agree, and we agree to agree, or agree to disagree, and so on and so forth. It's in us. It's an innate ability to do that when we do not see eye to eye. But however, we go into discussions, then we go and reach consensus, right? And we believe that these are not unreasonable demands, but these are demands that will strengthen this coalition government, so that we run a smooth government. Yes, maybe in a year or two, or in 6 months, or even a month, we are going to collide again. But what I like about this coalition government is that we are able to bring each other. We listen to each other. Like, for instance, we have a meeting on the 4th of January, the first PMC of January, so that we're able to outline this thing. And this matter of this letter is at the top of the agenda, because we do not want a situation whereby we do not listen to each other and there's a big brother mentality and so on and so forth. So we take each other seriously, we listen to each other, and we will reach consensus. We're going to find solutions to every other challenge that we're going to get. We are going to get a lot of challenges. This is a fluid arrangement, and so we need to tread very carefully around these issues every time. So it's a political matter. That's how politics are. But we need to be open. We are open to being persuaded, and so on and so forth. It's not just it's a cast in stone. But when it comes to that SIU investigation and also the issue of the political deployment, these are issues that are unreasonable. They can be changed, and they can be changed now. So it's not like we are saying let us expropriate land tomorrow, which would be very absurd to do that, because it is Parliament and so on and so on.
Can we not have a situation where disagreements are thrashed out behind closed doors, and we don't have every disagreement accompanied by a threat to leave, because that will affect confidence in the new administration?
I think it's when we wrote that, we don't know who even leaked the letter in the first place.
But it's been written.
But then it's public knowledge of it. It's fine. It's okay, and it's part of transparency and whatnot.
Sure.
However, us saying that we are not going to vote for any other political party is because at the end of the day, our interest is the interest of the people, right? If you are implicated in an SIU report, and this government is not taking it seriously, we cannot support such. It's at the interest of the people that we are saying we are not going to vote for any other. We are not saying we are leaving the coalition government. You can take the NMC position and everything. We are still members of that. But however, we are not going to come into meetings and act as if there's nothing wrong that we have highlighted. There's no SIU report that is in front of us. And then the next thing we act, we take a blind eye. If it comes to a push that we have to leave, we are going to leave, Daron, because at the end of the day, our integrity and the integrity of the Nelson Mandela Bay, we have to put the people first amongst every other thing. And this is an action of us putting our people first. It is not being malice or just being a political party who wants clout and everything. Yes, it's going to be interpreted in whatever way. It's okay. However, we believe in one thing: we're putting our people first. We cannot condone corruption, because if we do it tomorrow, the same people who are bashing us right now, they're going to say, UDM, you were part of that government which had an SIU report. You shelved it in your cupboards, and you did not want us to know about it. But what we are saying right now, we're saying these reports must go to council. Council must decide on what to do, on what disciplinary measures that needs to be taken against everyone who has been found having done something wrong with monies in the municipality. So this is not something out of the ordinary. We are not just being dramatic, but we are living according to what we believe in. And remember that UDM has been known for corruption busting. And this is what we are doing. Whether we are in government, whether we are out of government, we are going to continue to expose these things that threaten good governance, that threaten ethical leadership, and so on and so forth in our society and in government.
Where to from here?
From here, we are going on the 4th of January to the PMC meeting to discuss these issues, and I believe that is going to be a robust debate. We are not expecting any rosy decisions and everything like that. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in politics if we wanted that. Then from there, we are going back into governance. We are going to deliver electricity to our people since we are in the portfolio of electricity.
Can I just interrupt you there and say, so you're anticipating everything being sorted out quite politely, despite the robust debate, and for you to stay in the unity government after the PMC meeting on the 4th of January?
We are in the government of local unity. There's no saying we...
No threats to leave.
Or coming out of governance. That's what we are threatening. But we are saying we are not going to vote with you if ever you are not going to pay for this report, if ever you're not going to fix this political deployment, and so on.
No chance at all of you leaving the local unity government then? You're just going to abstain and boycott?
Yes, it's what happens. If you don't agree with these things and you believe that because at the end of the day, remember that every political party has an autonomy, even in that government of local unity. So we are independent parties with our mandate. However, remember that all of us there we have a pro-poor agenda. And most of our constituencies are poor black people and so on. And however, we serve everybody in the Nelson Mandela Bay, and that's what makes us common. In that, and I don't think it will be a problem to fix these issues all in the interest of the pro-poor people of the Nelson Mandela Bay. And we continue with business as usual. Otherwise, if that report is not tabled there, then we are supporting corruption.
I understand.
And then we are not living up to what we are preaching on a daily basis to our people. To say, for South Africa to work, for Nelson Mandela to work, for our people to be able to work, and for us to create a conducive environment for investors to come locally and otherwise, we need to get rid of corruption. Because corruption is the mother of all problems in South Africa.
We may return to you again in the future. We appreciate your time today, and we look forward to the outcome of the PMC meeting on the 4th of January. He's the UDM Bay spokesperson, Yongama Zigebe, joining us today on Behind the Herald Headlines. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Daron, for your time, and to your listeners, and I wish you the best for 2022.
That was today's edition of Behind the Herald Headlines with Daron Mann.